Okay. We're here today at Big Monkey Comics with author Mike Carey. Mike, so what brings you to DC?
Well, I'm basically here as part of a 10-city tour to promote my new novel, The Devil You Know, which has just been released from Warner Books, or Hachette Books as they're shortly to become. So they lined up a whole lot of appearances for me at bookshops and comic shops across the USA, going down the East Coast and then jumping across and going down the West Coast.
Okay, that's very good. So, how important is the artist in the work that you set out to do?
Totally crucial, basically. I mean, an example would be Lucifer. When we started out, I mean, the Lucifer miniseries was painted by Scott Hampton. My very first outing at DC, and I get paired up with Scott Hampton, so I can't complain. That was fantastic. And then when we started the monthly, we had Chris Weston and James Hodgkins. Again, a really powerful art team. But the chemistry between penciler and inker didn't work, and they both decided to leave the book with issue 3. And at that stage, in a book's history, when you've only just been launched, to lose the entire art team is an appallingly bad thing. It's been a potentially lethal blow, and we thought we were going to die. But as it turned out, Peter Gross was coming off of Books of Magic at exactly that time, and he picked it up with issue 5, and suddenly, we've actually found our identity. That's the point where the book comes together and we know what we're doing. Basically, finding the right artist for the right project is the difference between success and disaster. And you do write differently for different artists. You get to know an artist's nuances. You can play to their strengths. Increasingly with Peter Gross, I knew exactly how he would respond to certain kinds of things, and I was able to use a shorthand in writing for him, and I was able to set things up that I knew he'd just be able to hit out of the park.
Okay. I also noticed when I was reading your bio on Wikipedia that you used to be a high school teacher. Now, one of the things that we've been trying to do here at the stores, we've been trying to figure out ways to get younger people to actually read comics.
Right.
How do you go about doing something like that?
That's a tough one. I think partly it's a problem with the way the industry is now organized. When I was growing up, comics were distributed overwhelmingly through newsstands. You'd go into a newsagent's shop, and there would be a spinner rack of comics. In the UK, there would be American comics, but you'd never know from one month to the next which comics were going to come in. You'd just take whatever was there. You might get the first part of a Daredevil story, and they'd never get the second part of the story in. So you were eclectic. You just picked up whatever you could, and it was a great introduction to the medium. So I grew up loving all kinds of comics, superheroes, but also westerns, horror, everything that was out there. I would buy and read absolutely voraciously. But with the late 80s, you begin to get that kind of distribution through the direct market, and I'm aware that you're working in that market. But the problem is that the people who come into comic shops tend to be people who already know what they're looking for.
Right.
So where's the entry point?
Right.
I think DC and Marvel are both addressing it to some extent because they're now doing deals with people like Walmart to try and get comic books available in their stores. Obviously, part of the idea with Minx is to appeal to a teenaged demographic, which the manga phenomenon has proved is out there. Beyond that, I don't know. I don't know what you do. Beyond